Hi, everybody. We're live from Studio B again, as we are every Tuesday and Friday. Beach Street Yacht Club, of course, in San Francisco's beautiful Marina District, as people are checking in from around the world, from Leamington in the UK, from the Gold Coast in Australia, and beyond. Standing by patiently in Auckland is Terry Hutchinson. T. Hutch, our longtime friend, who has only about 10, 12, maybe 15 minutes, if we're lucky, to tell us about this big announcement that took place. And I'm going to go right to it. We're not going to do the starting line, Julia. We're not going to do any of the normal preliminaries, because what was confirmed yesterday in a press conference, and I have a video of the press conference I'll play later after we let Terry go. American Magic has merged, I'm not quite sure what the word is Terry will use, with Rockwell, Denmark, the SailGP team. It's confirmed. We've been doing a one here's on here for weeks, if not months. But American Magic acquires the Rockwell Racing SailGP team in a landmark deal. And we're delighted to have Terry with us live from Auckland. It's a race day down there. They're racing at 1600. It's 10 o'clock there now, Terry. So you're flat out. Welcome to the show. Yeah. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Tom and Julia, very much for the time and the opportunity to be here. Before we get into it, though, we got to give a massive shout out to Laura Grondin and Paul Kayard for their acknowledgments of great racing seasons in 2025 and being named the Rolex Yachts Women and Yachtsmen of the Year.
Yeah,
How awesome is that?
It is awesome. And I was going to ask you about it, but I didn't want to take up any of our precious time. But I've got a segment about them. That was good. Last night at 44th Street. Yeah. As you know, I'm a voter, and I'll never disclose for whom I voted, but I'm delighted with both. You must know both very well for many years.
Well, obviously, I raced with Paul at America One, and we worked together at Artemis, and we've been competitors. We're friends, and I don't know Laura as well. But she did an incredible job, and watching her win J70 Worlds on the last day was just awesome. You know, I had a nice catch up yesterday with Taylor, congratulating him on his nomination and making it into the final three there. And you know, it's a hard one, but you know, it was great to see Paul win.
Yeah, and of course he's a little older than you, a little younger than I, but you and I are together with him on America One, and it was a fabulous job that he did with that team. He was the chief cook and bottle washer, and we had Buddha, and we had a few others, and Julia was a major contributor. You and your late husband were a major contributor to America One. So Terry, it's good to be back. It's good to see you in SailGP.
Family.
I'm going to play the opening video, the splash video or the launch video that was played yesterday at the press conference when you announced this in Auckland. And that's only a 30-second or so video, and then we'll come back and talk about it. Here it is.
Perfect.
The fastest team on water doesn't ask if it can go faster. It asks how. Translating pressure into precision, the unexplainable into speed. Finding order in the chaos. They say, to go fast, go alone. To go far, go together. Why not both?
Oh, what a moment! Fastest speed in SailGP ever!
It's not about changing who we are. It's about giving us the edge. Building on rock-solid foundations. Unleashing performance to turn speed into victory. And finding that little bit of magic.
We are here to win.
The fastest team on water just found another gear.
Nice video, Terry. Yeah. And that, of course, the talking head there at the end was Doug DeVos, your boss.
Yeah.
I worked for his dad. Did you know that? His dad, Rich, was chairman of America 2, and I was executive director of that syndicate. So you and I share that. And there is no finer family in our beloved sport than the DeVos family. All the work that the two of you have done with the quantum racing TP52, 52 Super Series. But now you've moved into SailGP. How and why?
Well, I think in a very simple way, you know, the why is because, you know, the sailing is becoming a global sport and has always been a global sport. And so we're looking for opportunities to expand American Magic certainly into that and to be a part of it. I mean, it's such an incredible atmosphere and competition. we're so proud to be partnered with SailGP Denmark with Rockwall Racing. Rockwall is a title sponsor to the team, and they have a commitment through 2032 with the team, which is just phenomenal and made it such an easier transition into this league. And so we're so appreciative, really, of their consideration to have American Magic partner.
Terry, it's the longest sponsor commitment in SailGP, right?
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
That is right. And so it's, they have a huge commitment to the sport of sailing. I think in the very early days, what we realized that certainly our vision and values for the sport were very aligned, and that made it an easier part of the discussion and the negotiation. The relationship with the Danish team is something that we're very proud of, and we've had the opportunity in the last year to get to know Nikolai Sehested, who's the helmsman, and he's on top of being a great teammate, he's a quality person, and it was really him that helped connect the dots here in the early days. And then from there, the powers to be inside of American Magic, inside, between Mike and Russell and Doug and Marilla with Rockwall. It came together reasonably quickly, and we're very excited about this opportunity. And one of the things that stands out here that is, and I've literally been on the ground for 5 days, so it's very early days, but the atmosphere that is in and around SailGP. And what I mean by that is when you come in and you're greeted by the tech team or by the media team or by the hospitality team, there is a genuine culture or purpose here. There's a genuine love of what people are doing to help promote our sport. They really enjoy the work. The tech team is the shore team, for lack of better words, and everybody here, they're so motivated to put out a great product, not only on the water, but in every aspect that people come in contact with SailGP. So that's probably been one of the biggest things that has opened my eyes to really how promising this circuit already is and where it's going.
Let's talk a bit about Pensacola, because you've just made a big announcement there about your new tech center there. Yeah. And, you and I know Tom Pace and a lot of the other gang down there on the Gulf Coast well. And, I sailed Flying Squatinis down there at Pensacola Yacht Club before you were born, I think. And there's a great sailing culture, a year-round sailing culture, and now it's going to be pretty important pretty important facility for SailGP as well as American Magic.
Yeah, well, that's a great point, and American Magic Services, which is the entity that's working with SailGP on the facility there, and really, the intention is to set up a year-round training facility, which we will start in September of this year, and in so many ways will mirror what's happening here with SailGP. American Magic will run the shore side, will run, putting the boat in the water, getting the boat out of the water, setting the whole facility up so the analytics team can come in and look at the data and watch the day's racing, but really mirror what's going on here with SailGP. From a team perspective, we have to stay very clear of that operation because, we're SailGP Denmark, and we don't want to have any conflict of interest there. So, the added benefit of the development of the relationship with purchasing the team was developing this other relationship with SailGP and really allowing the opportunity to start developing the future of the sport. Developing a minor league per se, as there's a qualification that needs to take place to get onto the yacht. And I applaud Russell's and Larry's vision to all of this because, in a roundabout way, they're doing exactly what Doug has inspired us to do and has always communicated in how he wants to grow the sport. And so really forming this relationship and seeing this opportunity coming in front of us, I'm not really sure I have the right words to describe how good this is going to be.
You must have had an inkling, though, that Doug was headed in this direction. You wrapped up the TP52 program in what was that? October, September,
In
October?
October of last year.
And you said, okay, well, we're not going to do the 52 Super Series anymore. You must have a pretty good idea then that what direction Doug was going to head or try to head.
Yeah. No, there was an inkling. There was more than an inkling. And but nothing is done until it's actually done. And so, that's as I have learned in my relationship with Doug and my relationship with Mike, I mean, this whole side of the business side of our sport, it's a process in the same manner that it's a process to getting good results on the water. It's a process that takes time. It's a process that takes experience. And so having the opportunity to learn a different side of our game is really, it's an awesome opportunity personally, but it also is great to be around people that are experts in their areas. And so when you listen to the discussions and you hear the evolution of the game plan and the execution of the game plan, it's much in the same way that we do on the boat. It's just a different race course. And so I welcome that opportunity to learn about that and to truly understand how we do things there as well.
If you're wondering why, sorry, Terry, if you're wondering why Terry's camera is a bit shaky, we were really lucky to get Terry on sort of at the last minute. We've been working on this, but he's so darn busy with racing happening today and a lot of breeze today, and they've advanced the race times tomorrow. We'll talk about that later in the show. But T. Hutch, I have to ask, and I told you to ask, because everybody, as you can imagine, is asking me, what about some of your American Magic, America's Cup colleagues who are now with other teams, including and especially the esteemed H4?
Yeah. Well, H4 he's a great young man, and having the opportunity to race with him this past year on the TP52 was good for both of us. And I was so proud to be a part of his first world championship win. And as you rightfully point out, he works for the U.S. team, and we know through the transfer portal that we're really not allowed to engage in any discussions with any other athletes or sailors. But I would also say that the Danish component of our team is very real. It's very legitimate to the Rockwall mission. We have a great team here being led by Nikolai. We have a good blend of some American Magic grinders in Luke Payne, and we have Coach James Line here, who is overseeing the performance side and the coaching side of the team. And so, from that perspective, we're very happy with the team and the makeup that we have right now. I mean, in the strategist role, we have two incredibly talented women sailors that have both, between the two of them, they have 5 Olympic medals. And so I haven't really contemplated anything other than we have an incredible lineup. We're going to focus on developing and mentoring and helping as best we can, even though they're already incredibly talented sailors. And so, while my personal relationship with H4 is strong and great, he's a competitor now. So we have to work to make sure that, as we do with all the competitors, that we learn how to do this properly and that we learn how to win races and win regattas.
You got a lot of friends here on in the chat, and I'm sure they've got questions. We'll get Terry back on when he's got more time down the road. He's in his hotel on his phone. You can see his phone bouncing around a little bit on his lap. But at least,
too much coffee.
At least we got the connection done. And Terry, I promised you 15 minutes, and we're just about into 15 max. Okay. So final thoughts from you.
Final thoughts. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I'm really looking forward to today's racing. Tomorrow's racing is going to be incredible because it's going to be top end conditions. So we're on the small wings and as little sail area as possible. And, this is an exciting new opportunity. It's an exciting new chapter for American Magic. We're incredibly proud of developing this relationship with Sail GP and the Danish team and with Rockwall. And so I look forward to seeing what we can do together.
Good. Well, we wish you the best. We're looking forward to it. We'll be watching tonight and tomorrow. And we now have really, Julia cheers. I guess this is no secret. She likes the Spanish team. She likes Diego Botín.
He's a great sailor.
He's a great sailor. He's cute. He's a nice guy. So
I've never met him.
She's got a thing for these Spanish boys. And, Tom Slingsby and I go back, and I'm a big fan of his. But now we've got not only Taylor and the American team to cheer for, but we've also got you and the Rockwool Racing Denmark team with a lot of friends. James Lyons, nice to see him. I saw on his Facebook post that he's joined you as well, that you brought him in. So Bravo Zulu. Sail fast, sail safe, and especially in the breeze this weekend, have fun.
Yeah, it should be a great weekend.
Thank you. It is. You guys take care. Thank you.
Thanks, T. Terry Hutchinson. T. Hutch, very much appreciated. That's Terry just giving us the quick rundown on the announcement that was made yesterday in Auckland at the press conference. I have that press conference on tape, on video, and we'll get into all that in a minute as I see Commodore Harrington, Claire Harrington, saying best of luck to the Den team. She has a soft spot in her heart for Terry and the rest of the American Magic men and women who were with, of course, New York Yacht Club's challenge in Barcelona. Ed Vitrano, I'm sure by now that all have heard that Sunday, meaning our Saturday, our time, Sunday racing has been moved up 3.5 hours, from 1600 local time in Auckland's been moved up to 11:30. Alan Long says best wishes this weekend, Terry. Larry Kennedy in New York City in the FIDI. Now all they need is a top-notch bimbo. He wants to, I think, either go to Pensacola or maybe more and help out. Mark Wharton Reed checking in from Marina del Rey. Eve's famously good yacht designer and sailor, Eve Marie Tonton, is on, and he's agreeing with, I think, all of the foregoing. Steve Gruber, famously good sailor, sail maker from Connecticut. The bay in Pensacola is one of my favorite places to sail the Thistle. I sailed the Thistle midwinters with the late, great The Brune, with Bruce Goldsmith, and won, actually, the Thistle midwinters down there in the neck of the woods. I think it was at St. Pete Yacht Club. But Luca Craig, who met Terry a couple days ago in Auckland. Luca, of course, lives down there in Auckland. He says, Terry, it was nice to meet you. He says, I was the guy on the bike who had an embarrassing brain freeze and couldn't find my words. I think he was impressed by seeing, maybe even surprised by seeing Terry in Auckland. As I know Richard Gladwell was, our Super Fozzie Richard, who has been covering this very well indeed on sail-world.com. And Richard's been texting me, Julia, and saying, hey, guess who I saw in Auckland? Terry Hutchinson's here. What does that mean? I said, well, I can't really say, but he's going to be on the show on Friday.
Be sure to tune in.
With maybe something interesting to talk about. Yeah. Rockwell, Stingray up. I spoke with Stingray last night. Stingray up, and he's got some other interesting tidbits. He was among the first, if not the first, to tip me off to this.
He always has.
Stingray's amazing, Julia, and he is... he's in the witness protection program. He doesn't like to let his real name out because he's famously aggressive sometimes. He's a nice guy, too. But he gets in the Sailing Anarchy forums and has arguments with some of the gang in there. But it was a good tip, thanks to Stingray and others. I will also say that... a couple others knew in advance going. Will CBS Sports adjust their schedule on the Kiwi Sunday on our Saturday night? I don't know, Rick. That's a good question. I was wondering that myself, but I'll watch it on YouTube, no doubt, both this evening our time and also Saturday. Vasco Vascoto. Now there is a famously good sailor, a longtime friend, America's Cup veteran skipper, tactician, World Match Racing Tour. Ciao, Terry. See you soon. Nice to see Vasco on here. And Phil Yeoman saying Sail GP just got even more competitive. I think that's probably true. The word is in the media that Doug DeVos paid something like $60 million to buy the team from Sail GP, from Russell and Larry, because apparently it was a league-owned team. It's one of the last few remaining league-owned teams as they slowly get bought off by investors, which is also a good sign, not only for Sail GP, but for our beloved sport.
Yes.
Right, Julia?
Yes.
You would agree with that, you being a big investor and a daddy Warbucks.
Yes.
Huh?
Oh, yes. Daddy Warbucks, I am.
And if people are worried about Julia's mic up there on the side of her headset, we didn't have time to move her to her other headset. She's now on that boom mic, and it sounds good, actually.
Yeah, it's for the sound. And you are the sound champion of all time.
Well,
so.
it's easier for you. You don't have to fiddle fart around, or it doesn't make noise when you adjust it and so on. So the aim, John Emmett is reminding us, is 20 teams in Sail GP in 3 years' time. John's done, as Stingray is saying, Dogzilla, a.k.a. Dogzilla Monster, John has done a bunch of interviews that he's posted from Auckland. He's there. He was, you'll see his report in a minute here on our show, from inside the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron.
Wow.
And with the cup and the whole 9 yards. So it's a good report.
For him.
Let's get back to our regular show flow here, because we didn't do this in deference to Terry. We wanted to get him on and off quickly. Happy Friday, everybody. And happy, Julia, I've chosen 3. I couldn't decide which of today's, I have this website or 2 where I look at these things, but I've got 3 of them, and you decide which one you like best.
All right.
Terry Hutchinson was our guest live from Auckland, American Magic, on the big announcement yesterday in Auckland. I'll play that, at least a part of it, from yesterday's press conference down there. Interesting development, one we've been hearsing for months. Greg Norman, Inside Great Lakes Sailing, has also been, he's been hearing he's very tuned in with the DeVos, and he's from Michigan, and the kind of the Michigan sailing clan. By the way, Greg Norman is at the Winter Olympics. He's in Milano or Cortina right now, and he stopped through Naples and had a look.
Wow.
And it has sent me some interesting observations about all that. But we won't include that in today's show. Terry, thank you very much for joining us. We will preview the ITM, is the name of the presenting sponsor, the ITM New Zealand Sail GP Auckland. It's a mouthful. Excuse me. Breeze on. And yes, indeed, they'll start earlier on Sunday at 11:30 local instead of 1600, and we'll do those time zones for you. John Emmett with his great coaching corner. He's in Auckland at the esteemed Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, or was when he taped that earlier. Bravo Zulu, as Terry was saying, to Paul Kayard and Laura Grondin, who last night at New York Yacht Club's fabulous 44th Street Clubhouse in Midtown Manhattan, they were awarded the 2025 U.S. Sailing Rolex Yachtsman and Yachtswoman of the Year. And I'm not exactly surprised by that. I'm a voter. I won't disclose for whom I voted, because that wouldn't be fair or correct. But this Commodore Ken Glidewell is an esteemed past Commodore here at St. Francis. And many others are saying congratulations to Kayard, who's had a great year, not only winning the Star Worlds, but also in serving our sport with America One Racing, which has become our big Olympic push funding arm here in the U.S., in addition to U.S. Sailing. But also Paul's president of the Star class. And I don't believe anyone, Julia, has ever won the Star Worlds while they were also president of the class. Maybe back in the deep dark, annals of the class.
Or one, 16 years apart.
Well, more than that, 37.
37 years.
Yeah, 37, yes. 36, 37. So Chris actually agreeing. Bravo Zulu to Kayard and Grondin and everyone else. I texted Paul last night. As you can imagine, we have a favorite East Coast Commodore who's also a Super Fozy, who immediately it was announced who the winner texted me. And I texted Paul and I texted Justin Callahan, who was a Fozy. Yeah. And who was one of the finalists. Yes. And texted him and said, sorry, but you're young and frisky. Yes. And he'll be a Rolex Yachtsman of the Year sometime down the road if he continues to sail as well as he is doing, Justin Callahan. Yes. So bravo Zulu to them. We'll do a little segment on that. And also, Alistair's back with yet another. He's been prolific lately, and he interviewed Chuck Hawley, Charles, a.k.a. Chuck Hawley, who another friend for years who used to run West Marine in this country. But he has also done yeoman's work, Chuck has, with safety at sea. He's conducted so many seminars. He's a great public speaker, and he's conducted a lot of these things. And he's also an inductee, recent inductee, I think last year, into our National Sailing Hall of Fame here in the U.S. And because of the marine business, the marine industry, he and Alistair have been mates for a long time.
I bet.
So it's nice to have an interview from Alistair with Chuck. And then the last leg, today, the Finn Worlds, the Finn Gold Cup is underway at the, talk about esteemed clubs, the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. So that is on, and we'll have a little video and report on that. Shall we get on with it, Julia?
Can hardly wait.
Okay. Just to thank also Hamish, Dr. Deed, who was with us on Tuesday's show as the America's Cup headed to court, who, what, when, and why. He is so knowledgeable.
I was going to say, he's fun. He is, and he's fun to listen to because he knows what he's talking about.
Even if he doesn't, he sounds like he knows, right? Rarely in error, but never in doubt.
Never in doubt.
No, he's better than that. He's superb and a longtime friend. Even when we were, as we explained the other day, even when we were on opposite sides of these heavy-duty legal things in 2010, we still remain good friends and always will be, I'm sure. So that's a thanks, a shout-out to Hamish for that. And by the way, just a little bit of an update. John Sweeney, who is the one that we talked about a couple weeks ago. John is the local guy here in the Bay Area who's been involved in the Cup. He was with us. He was with Don Riley's America True as a crew. He's been involved in owning and operating IACC, International America's Cup Racing here in the Bay. Is a member, I think, of San Francisco Yacht Club and maybe others. And the guy's he's a retired, semi-retired tech exec, and he's got plenty of dough. He has written one, I can now tell you with certainty. He's been texting with me. We haven't talked on the phone yet, but we will. He has written to this New York State's Attorney General and filed an official, not a lawsuit, but a complaint saying, hey, Mr. Attorney General, you've got this America's Cup deed that I, John Sweeney, allege is being mistreated. And you're the person in charge. You're supposed to represent the public's interest, as Hamish explained on our show on Tuesday. The Attorney General of the state of New York represents the public interest in these so-called charitable or sporting trusts, which is what the deed of gift and the America's Cup is in New York law. And we've long since learned that, but both in not only 2010, but also back in the 1988 litigation with the Mercury Bay Boating Club v. San Diego. Okay, enough of all that. Julia, what are we celebrating today? And I'll give you three choices. And probably in the order that from 3, 2, 1. Today,
Galentine's Day.
Have you ever heard of Galentine's Day?
No.
Well, I was talking with Claire this morning. She was driving from New York out to her home in Greenwich. And she said, hey, are you going to run what are we celebrating? Have you ever heard of Galentine's Day? And I said, yeah, I saw it on the website as one of the options. She said, yeah, I saw it on the news this morning, one of the morning shows. And she said, it sounds like a terrible idea. I said, you know what? Julia will think it's a terrible idea, too. Galentine's Day, the day before Valentine's Day. Gather for brunch, exchange gifts, and show appreciation for the love and laughter your gal pals bring to your life.
Well, there are lots of people in that category. I just don't happen to be one of them.
Well, I know, and nor is Claire. She said, this is the last thing I need to do is go out with ladies who lunch. Right.
Yes.
I know that's not your cup of tea. So I told Claire I'm going to put that in and dedicate it to Julia. I knew how much you would appreciate Galentine's Day.
Yes.
Okay, so we won't celebrate that. Then maybe you're more interested.
Oh.
You know what that is?
I know what it looks like.
I know what it looks like. International Condom Day is also
it is.
being celebrated today.
Totally.
Not necessarily by us. Friday the 13th. This super practical day offers an important reason for celebrating, which is practicing safe sex, Julia.
What a good idea.
Huh?
That's a good idea.
We should practice safe sex. J. Frederick Bland is saying it looks like Lollipop Day.
Yes.
An interesting day. Hug, ugh, ugh, ugh. Well, you should have Condom Day probably be the day before Valentine's Day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Julia, I know this is the one you'll like, and there's even a yachting connection. What are we celebrating today?
Looks like cheese.
What cheese, specifically?
You've
got a cough switch, remember?
I know.
And I moved the cough switch to your overhead mic. There you go.
Sorry.
National Cheddar Day, my favorite, produced in a wide range of varieties, whether matured and aged for a long time or short with a mild or sharp taste. Cheddar is a fairly affordable, versatile, and ubiquitous, there's a good word, ubiquitous friend.
Great idea.
Buy me. Parmesan. J. Frederick Bland says he likes Parmesan. It does, you know what? When I showed that slide, I was preparing the show, Alfredo looked in here and he said, that looks like Parmesan. I said,
I thought so too.
I said, close but no cigar. It's National Cheddar Day, which has a history that dates back several hundred years to the 12th century. The legend goes that the village of Cheddar in Somerset, England, a young woman placed a pail of milk in a cave to keep it cool on a hot day. As was the practice at the time, she forgot about the pail of milk, and when she returned, it had turned into this delicious, hardened cheese that everyone loves today. But it gets better. As monarchs and royals began to enjoy the flavors and tastes that cheddar cheese brought, it became popular around England and then moved over to Europe. Kings and queens alike would enjoy the round wheels of orange?
Yeah.
Colored, not yellow, orange-colored cheese that eventually became famous the world over. I like white cheddar myself. Queen Victoria of England, we've talked about this on the show, was presented with an enormous wheel of cheddar cheese on the occasion of her wedding to Prince Albert in 1840. The wheel weighed more than 1,000 pounds, which means she probably didn't eat it all herself.
Probably not.
Cheddar made its way over here to the New World with the settlers who started making cheddar in the U.S. Eventually, by the year 1790, the colonists were making their own cheddar cheese and exporting it back to their home country of England. You would think Wisconsin maybe, or up in the Great Lake. But no, by 1851, there's the yachting connection. The world's first cheese factory was opened in, upstate New York, where the largest production of cheese was focused on cheddar, of course. And yes, that wraps up our presentation today for Cheese Illustrated, John Emmett says. Except I have one more slide, Julia. I didn't mean to put camera on you when you were trying to stifle a cough there. I have one more slide, and when I told Claire that I thought that had to be the one, she said she went into her fridge and pulled this out because she loves, as do I,
the Tillamook
Vermont white cheddar, and this is Tillamook, which comes from what, Washington State or Oregon?
Oregon.
Yeah, from the PNW Pacific Northwest.
I love everything Tillamook.
So, Allie, Andrew Dolly DeVola, Dolly's saying, so get it together with the gals, practice safe sex, and finish with a charcuterie board. Nice one, Tom. I like it. Alan Long loves New York cheddar. And, of course, tomorrow is Valentine's Day. Julia?
Yes. Therefore,
it smells good here in the studio because Julia has a presentation to make.
Yep. Well, just a little love and flowers to all the Fosey.
All the Fosey. Happy Valentine's Day to all the Fosey.
Yes. Wish you all could be here.
And those are, put it right in front of your camera so we can see it. Those are, you can put it on the corner of your desk if you want. On the other corner, if you want, it doesn't block you. You can leave them there. If it doesn't block your,
there we go,
your computer.
They're dragon lilies.
No, they're moon gazers. What do you call them?
Oh, stargazers.
Stargazers, aren't they?
Stargazers, they are.
Stargazers. Why, are they pink or white or what?
Yes. They come in different colors. I happen to be a fan of the red ones, but they don't have any red ones.
Well, those smell fabulous, and that's why the stargazers are the best of those lilies because they smell so good, right?
They do.
I made I made Julia pick all the are those the stamens? Is that what you call it? The little brown thing? Because they get your brown, yellow. They get all. I said, don't bring those into the studio. We'll have a mess in here. You got to pick all those. So she sat out in the grill room here at Beach Street Yacht Club this morning and picked all the, what do you call them? Stamen out of the. You can see they are nude. Stamenless. Stargazer lilies, Joe Holtzman confirms.
Yes.
They smell great. That's probably why you're using your cough switch. Okay, that's enough Tillamook cheese. That's a happy Valentine's Day. That's what we're celebrating today, as well as T. Hutch, who came on at the top of the show. If you missed it, go back and watch it and replay because it was great.
He was really good.
He was, and quick, and he literally was in his hotel room. He texted me just before and said, hey, I'm only going to have 15 minutes. I thought I was going to have 30, but I've got to go. Can we put it?
He was sitting in the hall.
Yeah, with his phone on, and he was holding his phone. And Bannero says, now we know why Julia is coughing. Okay, well, let's continue on with some of the info we've got from that press conference. This is the presser yesterday in Auckland. And I don't know this gal's name on the left, but she's a TV presenter, I believe, or a radio presenter in I believe, a TV presenter in Auckland. And she was fabulous. You know how you get these people, Julia, who, I'll put the PIP back up, you know, and each, I've argued with Russell a little bit. I'm wondering why at each stop he has a different host for the forward, you know, the face of Sail GP. Why don't you have the same person, the Bruno Troublé, the way he used to be for the America's Cup, at every event, at every stop? Why don't you have the same person that goes around, knows the people, knows the stuff, and can host these pressers and other things? And now Russell thinks it's better to have a local person who's familiar with and with whom the locals are familiar to draw attention into this kind of action. Well, this gal, of all the locals I've seen, was the best. She had her little iPad and she had her iPad mini. She had her questions. But just to compliment her, she was very good, very well organized. And more than that, she was a delight to watch in action and listen to. As she started the press conference yesterday with Russell, Mike Kaiser, who is the CEO, he's been working for the DeVos family for a long time. Mike Kaiser is the CEO, and I think he's been running Doug DeVos's family office. So the investment arm of the DeVos family and the wealth arm and so on. But he's also been the CEO of American Magic, the America's Cup team, and now CEO of this team as well. Next to him, of course, is the driver, the skipper, Nikolai Sehested, for the Danish Sail GP team and continues in that role. And then T. Hutch, who is the president of sailing operations for American Magic and will be overseeing the team day to day, or so one hears. Here is the video from the press conference. And it's going, I'm not going to show the T. Hutch part because you just heard Terry, but I'm going to show the part with Russell, Mike Kaiser, and Nikolai at least, and that runs 6 minutes, and it'll give you a feel for how it went yesterday and what they're thinking about going forward.
What a way to kick off this weekend. Please now give a warm welcome to the gentlemen who have joined me on stage, Sail GP CEO and co-founder Sir Russell Coates, American Magic Chief Executive Officer Mike Kaiser, Rockwell Racing driver Nikolai Sehested, and the man who I think enjoyed that video the most, American Magic President of Sailing Operations, Terry Hutchinson. Congratulations to you all. Another team sail within the Rolex Sail GP Championship. Nikolai, I'm going to start with you. This is obviously very exciting news as the driver of the team. What does it mean to have a group like American Magic backing Rockwell Racing?
Oh, it's super exciting, and I think it's a vote of confidence that such a cool team like American Magic believe in our team and what we built over the last few years. And I honestly think we have the two best partners in sailing right now with Rockwell and American Magic, and you know, it gives us the opportunity to go all the way, which we dreamt of since we started. And I truly believe we can do that with American Magic behind us now and Rockwell, who continues the support since the beginning.
Well, Mike, are you able to give us some insight into how this all came about? Tell us the backstory. How long has this conversation been on the table?
So American Magic has been talking with Russell and Andy for, I think, 5 years. It was a conversation between Doug DeVos and Russell in early 2021, and Terry's been involved. And we've been watching SailGP grow in terms of the excitement, the fans, the number of teams, the incredible venues, but also the product is just so incredibly compelling. We kept watching it and rooting for it. And along the way, we said, we need to be a part of this incredible league.
Okay. The question, Mike, that I'm sure many are wondering, why a Danish team? And what's the long-term vision for Rockwell Racing?
Kim, that's a good question. Fundamentally, we believe in this team. What Nikolai and the rest of the team have developed is a high-performance platform. You can see it in their performance on the water, but also their values off the water. And in Rockwell, we have a great partner. So for us, we're embracing the Danish character of the team. We're investing in it. We're going to develop it.
Russell, I'll come to you. What does this new partnership mean for SailGP, and particularly following last month's training base announcement?
Well, it's obviously a fantastic step for SailGP. I mean, having, first of all, Rockwell are an amazing partner to have in SailGP. They have just extended their partnership to 2032 at least. So that sort of underpins the whole investment. And then you've got American Magic that actually bring a lot of expertise, not only in the sailing field, but in the business field with sports. Of course, we all know that they're connected with Orlando Magic, the NBA team, and the DeVos family, of course, have other investments in professional sports as well, namely ice hockey. So that level of expertise and I think to have involved in the league and helping us drive the league forward is enormous. Plus, the training base that's been established in Pensacola is a state-of-the-art facility, and they have an objective to train young talent. We obviously need to train young talent in the future, so those goals are aligned. And I think, from that point of view, this couldn't be a better partnership.
And we do hear, Russell, that this could even set the stage for an eventual minor league in SailGP?
Well, exactly. I think Andy Thompson started to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak. Excuse the pun with the cat too. But we are looking at a smaller catamaran, probably 25 to 30 feet long. The idea being, as you look at other professional sports leagues, clearly there's a challenge in training new athletes, and we think that there's a model similar to some of the other minor leagues in professional sports that we could develop a product that allowed new athletes from all over the world to actually come in, the top young athletes in the world to come in, develop their skills, and then be drafted effectively into the top professional teams in the world, and I think that's a hugely exciting pathway going forward. So anyway, we're right in the infancy of planning that. We are looking at other minor league models to model our own minor league off, but I think it's fair to say that this program has got legs now, and with the new American Magic facility in Pensacola, of course, that just makes that capability so much more achievable. And aside from that, it's not only the partnership with the facility, but American Magic, of course, also have expertise in running that facility. They're actually, with their vast technical personnel, access to technical personnel, they're going to effectively run that facility for us, so that the training facility, including all of the analytics and so forth. But also, I haven't spoken to Mike much about this next point, but they could even help us develop this new boat, this new smaller boat, and of course they build facilities there. So the conversation will evolve, I'm sure.
Mike, you don't want to have that conversation now? You're good? You're good? We'll leave that to the
I'll
back
just say
rooms.
we're very excited about the concept that Russell just described.
Nicely played. And by the way, Russell, I liked.
Okay, so that's a segment of that interview from yesterday. Mike Kaiser did talk a little longer. Nick Sehested did as well, and of course T. Hutch. But you got the real news, the bulk of the news, I think, and the setup, if you will, for how this whole new era, the DeVos era in SailGP, is going to play out, at least initially. And I think that's pretty big news that they're planning a minor league as we say in baseball in this country, AAA ball, which is the top. There's AA and A, but there's AAA baseball teams, which are the minor leagues that the top players get seasoning. They then, if they are good enough, they graduate up. They'll maybe sometimes bounce back and forth between the main team and the AAA teams, the minor league teams, and if they make it, they make it. Okay, so that's a piece of news there from yesterday's presser. There are 2, 4, 6, 8. I don't know what venue where that was taken, but there's that was used in the press release yesterday. 8 of the 13 teams, so it's not an addition of a team. You can see Rockwool remains, and they're a sponsor through, I believe, 2032. And I believe is the longest term sponsor now in SailGP, even longer than Rolex. And Rolex, no doubt, is going to stay around from what I hear. Minor League Phil Yeomans is saying more exposure, more airtime. And Ed Worley is saying, yes, in the U.S., the minor leagues are the training grounds for the big teams. John Emmett was asking about the term minor league. It's not a dig at the AC. All of the pro sports teams have minor league teams. The big basketball team here that Stephen Curry plays for, the Golden State Warriors, they have a minor league team down in Santa Cruz, that good sailing town south of us, down in the South Bay, further down the peninsula, called the Santa Cruz Warriors, I guess. I can't remember what they're called, but yeah, you get the idea. And it also brings spectators into the sport because then there's some minor league racing and events, and other people go watch that and get to know some of the players, so it's good fun. So there are the main players that you saw in the press conference and beyond. Mike Kaiser, of course, and Nikolai Sehested, and it looks like and sounds like, from everything I'm hearing and seeing and what T. Hutch just said to us at the top of this show, he is going to be running this SailGP team day to day, and he will be expanding SailGP's operations in Pensacola.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be a big deal in Pensacola from everything I'm hearing, not only from Terry and others, but also from Commodore Tom Pace, the past Commodore of the Pensacola Yacht Club, who's very familiar with what is going on there in his neck of the woods.
Yes.
Commodore Pace, who's a friend of this show. So that's the Terry Hutchinson report. That was thanks again.
A lot of news in there.
Thanks again, Terry, for coming on the show. And let's segue now to SailGP and the Auckland, formerly ITM, SailGP, New Zealand SailGP in Auckland, which is racing tonight, Friday night our time. It's Saturday and Sunday racing.
Final race on Saturday
local time.
will go the way of the Blackwell.
And as we've said a couple times, they're moving the Sunday racing up because of the threat of very windy conditions. As Richard Gladwell says, they're sending used weather from Australia. He said, when we get used weather from Australia, which means it's coming across the Tasman, he says it's kind of crummy weather. Used weather. I thought that was great. And by the way, Gladwell is doing some fabulous reporting. He's there, of course. That's in his backyard, his front yard. And I haven't had time to go into all of his articles, but he's writing an article or 2 or 3 a day. So I commend sail-world.com to you and what Richard's writing. Magnus has had a couple of columns, in fact, kind of softly critical columns of SailGP, like maybe the word from the America's Cup is we ought to be tamping this down because maybe the America's Cup's a little intimidated by the continuing success of SailGP, Julia. I don't quite know what to think of all this.
That's because there's nothing like it elsewhere.
Did you see Magnus's column this morning?
No.
It was it was a, well, I'll believe it when I see it. We'll see how it goes, but it's going. I mean, it's going. And then here's the press conference, the second half of yesterday's press conference, after they did the announcement. Then they had some of the other top skippers up there, including the local favorite there, Pete Burling, on the right, Taylor Canfield. And the word is that in fact, it was so windy yesterday, they could not have a practice race, so that got canned.
Wow.
It was so windy, and there was even some lightning, which is not all that common in New Zealand. And they didn't practice, except they did let the Kiwis and your favorite team,
yes,
and the Germans, for some reason, I'm not quite sure why the Germans, maybe they had a problem with their boat, but the two boats that got rebuilt after Perth were let out yesterday in the early hours to do some practicing and checking of their systems, and apparently passed with flying colors.
Oh, good.
Before they called off the practice racing yesterday. So it was breezy. There's the Kiwis out yesterday, as you can see. So Auckland Storms canceled Friday's practice and bring forward Sunday's schedule. Heavy rain and an ominous forecast of thunderstorms for the Auckland area put paid to Friday's scheduled Sail GP practice. What's that mean? Put paid. In any event, nevertheless, maybe it's a typo. Nevertheless, anticipation, this is from Yacht Racing Life, yet nevertheless, anticipation is high for a thrilling couple of days of racing action with the tantalizing possibility of a new Sail GP speed. Yeah, because it's flat water, unlike Perth, which is pretty bumpy. It's an onshore breeze and pretty lumpy. Here it's going to be breezy coming through the bridge, the harbor bridge, and it's going to be flat water. So maybe they'll set a speed, which, by the way, the Danish Sail GP team holds the speed record from one of the events last year. Maybe a new Sail GP speed record, adding some extra spice. So the new times are Saturday. That's the normal time, Saturday at 4 p.m., 1600 New Zealand time. And then they are pushing up, there, as the Latins would say, as the Italians and the Spanish would say, they are anticipating Sunday's time from 1600 up to 11:30 in the morning. Which, for those of you here in the States, that means Friday's tonight racing, which is Saturday down there, 1900 Pacific, 2200 Eastern. And for those of you in Europe, it's 0300 your early Saturday morning, +1 Saturday morning, UTC.
And you can see it immediately afterwards.
But for Sunday, which is Saturday here, Sunday's racing locally in New Zealand, because of the moving the schedule up, it's at 14:30 Pacific, 17:30 Eastern, so 5:30 in the afternoon Eastern, and 10:30 at night, 22:30 UTC on your Saturday night in Europe. So pretty convenient, a bit like this show. That's why we do it at 1300, and it's just a little after that for tomorrow. Okay, there's this new video podcast company out, and it's called The Foil. We've run a little bit of their stuff before, and some of it's pretty good, some of it's pretty lame, but none of us is perfect. This was as good a preview as I've seen of what's going on in Auckland leading up to the racing tonight and tomorrow in Auckland. So they're Saturday and Sunday, of course. And I'll just play it and see what you think.
The stadium on Auckland Harbour is empty today because it's practice day. This is going to be rammed to the gills on Saturday and Sunday, however. It's a big breeze weekend, and Freddie, that's part of the problem for this practice day.
Yeah, the problem for the practice day is there is big breeze forecast this afternoon. They don't want to risk the assets, which is understandable, but there are 3 teams that are allowed out sailing, Andy. That's New Zealand and Spain to test their fixers that we know all too well from Perth. And really interestingly, the Germans are out there sailing today. Now, the rumour going round, unconfirmed, is that after the Spanish incident, the Sail GP in all their wisdom went and tested everyone else's boats, NDT'd everyone's boats, and found the beginnings, potentially, of the same problem with the Germans that we had with the Spanish. That is unconfirmed rumour. That's just what we've heard in murmurings around the race village. But Andy, we caught up with Dylan Fletcher and Giles Scott to see what missing a practice day would mean for the teams. Giles, what's happening? Why aren't we out there practicing today, bud?
Yeah, there was a bit of fear around a potential for a lightning storm. I'm not convinced it's actually gonna come. It's meant to be happening about now, and it doesn't look too daunting. But on these practice days, the powers that be don't like to take much risk with the fleet. So yeah, we're in the shed today.
And the frustration for you is you had a reasonable start in Perth. I kind of said in our podcast, I hold you highly in this event. You had one mistake a race until the last race, which you won running away. What did you learn in Perth that you would have been training today out there?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of good that came out of Perth for us. I mean, we were middle of the pack with a sixth overall, which isn't amazing, isn't to be sniffed at either. But our error count was too high. We were doing some good things in the starts. We had a few crashes, a few bad calls on boat situations, and that kind of cost us, the potential for what could have been a pretty good event. So yeah, there's lots of little things to clean up here. But we're certainly no different than any other team. Everyone's trying to be clean.
Exactly. And Giles, looking ahead to the weekend, we're on a small bit of water with a sporty forecast, right?
Yeah, it's super small here, and with the forecast we got southwesterlies, and yeah, it looks like Mel, on the race team, the biggest course they can get in is about 0.5 of a mile long.
From top to bottom?
From Windward Gate to Lure Gate, so it's super small. And I think what you'll see is they'll do a slightly longer reach.
Right.
The Mark 1 will be nestled right under the shore and the grandstand.
Gotcha.
So they'll maximise that for those first couple legs as much as they can. But yeah, it's super short. And yeah, forecast wise, it could be anything from 12, 13 knots tomorrow to 20, 25 on Sunday. So yeah, it's going to be full on.
Well, there you go. We've heard it from the horse's mouth. Potentially 25 knots on Sunday. Giles, Scott, have a cracking weekend, mate. It's going to be fun regardless of result for us spectators. And I hope everything goes your way on board the Canadian boat.
So do we. Thank you very much.
After your amazing start to the season in Perth in big breeze and big waves, you must look at the forecast for this weekend, nudging over 20 knots all weekend, and be reasonably happy with another breezy forecast, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, when we saw the forecast the weekend, I did have a smile on my face. I think that also we all love sailing these boats when it's windy, and especially being in Auckland, which is the crowds maybe don't get behind us, but the crowd, there's a big crowd here, 10,000 seaters, and yeah, we're just looking forward to getting out there and getting racing on this little race course.
And as I said, amazing start to your title defence in Perth. I just want to know what you had on your list today to go out and improve that you might not get to do, well, you won't get to do today, and you've got to jam into that warm-up hour tomorrow morning. Are you going to let our fans know what you can improve in Big Breeze?
Well, yeah, I think it's we were pretty bad at starting.
Until the last start, which is the important one.
Yeah, the final start was probably the only good start of the whole weekend. So I think last year we were actually one of the best starters. So, Stu coming on board, there's lots of little work-ons that we need to do, get our communication right. So I think we've got some sessions after this, and we'll look to try and do everything we can. But yeah, we can nudge our starting up, and then as ever, we've got little details around the race course to try and just always be a little bit better.
And this is a question we often get on the foil, is what do the SailGP teams do to learn in between events? Like, just give our fans a little view of how often you catch up as a group in the 3 weeks between Perth and now, and what those conversations are about.
Yeah, so we have, a few different groups. We have like a performance group looking at the data. We catch up sort of between events, like once between events. And then we have an afterguard looking at the starting, the tactics. And you basically watch the onboard of the boat. So you go, for example, the Yanks sailed really well on the Saturday. You watch the onboards, what are they doing well, what can we learn?
Right.
Yeah.
So my question is, what did you learn? What have you learned off other teams' deals from Perth to now?
So there was some details, say, on the tacking, which we thought we were doing quite a good job, but actually, we're like, look at the French tack and Aussie tacks, and there's a few little details that they're doing that are better than us. So we're like, well, if we can just do that, what they're doing with this part, maybe we'll be a bit better.
Just a mile away from the America's Cup, right, where we're guessing all of this stuff. In SailGP, it's there in front of you, and you can learn off other boats. That's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, I think all of us athletes spend a lot of time watching video of the other boats.
Which is perfect for you, because as we know, you are a colossal sailing geek, which is why you do so well in all of this, mate.
Yeah, certainly a bit of a nerd.
Dills, all the best for the weekend, mate. It's going to be spectacular. We thought Perth was an amazing way to start, but my gut feeling inside my tummy tells me that Auckland could maybe even top that.
Yeah, we'll see. Could see some top speeds.
Nice, mate. Thank you very much. Well, there you go. That's what Dylan Fletcher and Giles Scott had to say about not having their practice day in Auckland today. So the boats aren't out on the water training, but if you follow me, we'll go into the sim room here, and this is the big spot where people are booking out their hours for today. If you can't get out on the water to train, the next best thing is in the simulator, and this is where the Americans are.
So good, a little unceremonious cutoff there, but a good video. And this is The Foil. It's a YouTube channel, and they're producing a lot of content. They've been at it now. There's, I think we told you about them, Canadian backer, we believe, and not necessarily connected to SailGP, but they're getting plenty of access. They're apparently going to be at a lot of the events, if not all of them. And it's not SailGP coverage per se, although I'm sure they want to be favorable.
Yeah.
They want to be supportive to keep their media credential, keep their access. But nice stuff. I thought that was a really good, insightful, and, you know, great sailors, too, in doing the interviewing. So
That room makes me seasick.
that room, the simulator room. It does. It's wild. But, you know, you wouldn't have gotten a look at it otherwise, I don't think.
Yeah.
Okay. Just because, again, this flurry of activity that's come out of the America's Cup press and, you know, mostly irrelevant stuff, not all that interesting. Oh, we're getting ready to go to Colliery. Oh, we're getting ready to go to Colliery. I've seen 2 or 3 different articles. And, of course, the reason is before Colliery, which is the weekend of the 20th, 23rd and 24th of May. It slips right in here, Colliery, which is the first preliminary regatta for the America's Cup. In the meantime, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 SailGP events.
Wow.
In Auckland this weekend, Sydney, Rio, and Bermuda. And then they do this thing in Colliery just before New York. And then, of course, they've got the New York event right after, the weekend after Colliery. So
I hope those boats hold together.
well, I was going to say, I just hope there's no accidents this weekend. This is going to be breezy. As Jody Shields reminds us, it's a bit of a problem when they don't have history shows that when they don't have the practice race on Friday, that means Saturday becomes a bit of a practice. They have an hour in the morning to practice, but then the racing itself, it becomes a little slipshod, shall we say, because the teams are trying to get back into it, especially with this much wind and especially with flat water.
Yeah.
It's going to be, so let's hope there are no crashes, or if there are, nobody is hurt, God forbid, because it's going to be sounds like a pretty wild weekend.
Yes.
4 SailGP events before Colliery, and that is our report and a preview. Julia, are you cheering for the Spanish?
Yes.
Why am I not surprised?
Well, I don't have anybody else to cheer for it, respectfully. So I like them.
I know you do. You like the Spanish boys. I mean, I thought you liked British boys. You liked the Andrews and Dolly DeVola and Hamish Ross and Alistair.
I do.
Now you got a soft spot in your heart for the Spanish boys. Diego Botín.
Yes.
How about John Emmett? How do you like him?
Oh, he's old hat because he's around all the time.
Well, speaking of old hat, we got his report. Coaching Corner with Super Fuzzy John Emmett, who's in the chat. And he recorded a nice video for us at the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron. This is on their, I didn't make this up. This is on their, it's the cover image or graphic on their Facebook page. And as I said, there it is, the RNZYS, a Facebook cover page. And here is John's report for today.
Hi, Tom, Julia, and all the Fosy. Can you guess where I am? Anyway, today's topic is still continuing the talk about inclusivity, because a very, very big part of that is women in sailing. And I am here because we've got the Auckland Sail GP coming up. And one of the key things is the presence of females on the boat. And I've done some really nice interviews recently. And you can argue about who the top 3 teams are, but I would say probably the top 3 teams all have female strategists. With Hannah from GBR, we have Liv from Black Foils, And then the Australian team, we have Tash from Bonds. So I think there's a really important part about making sailing as inclusive as possible. We've had a lot of focus on para, but women in sport is another very important aspect of that. So actually I asked Liv, and there was no money changing hands, what she thought the most important things for driving women in sport were. And she said, one, to connect with other female sailors and to encourage other females to sail, and two, a good relationship with your coach, which made me laugh. But there's so much history in sailing, and there's just so many fond memories for me. And I would just like as many people as possible to participate. And you do see it where the average age in the sailing clubs do creep up. And it's interesting at youth level or junior level, so Oppie, Ilka 4, you actually have more females participating than men. I just did the Australian Masters National Championships at Port Stephens, and there's very few female masters, and that's something I would really like to change. But I think now my lovely camera lady Lily is taking me to dinner, so sail fast, sail safe, and have fun.
John Emmett at the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, giving us a nice tour there. The cup is there, of course, Julia.
There's a lot of metal in that room.
That's a great room. That's a great clubhouse.
I've been in it once.
Great club. They're just a lousy trustee.
Yeah.
Sad to say. We're all still pushing for Brisbane 2032, hopefully making progress. A lot of compliments being paid to World Sailing and the job that their staff is doing to get us, get our sport back into the Paralympics, whether as a demonstration or a real event. While we're on the Olympics, let's do a quick check-in because the Winter Olympics are going on this week and next. The 25th Winter Olympics, Milano Cortina, as you all know, it's not day 5. I didn't change that slide. It must be day something else. Now it's 8 or so. And here's the latest medal count. People are interested in this. I'm not so much, but Norway, and again, they rank them by, in this case, it looks like they're ranked on total medals, but it's also the same for the number of gold medals. 8 for Norway, 6 for Italy, 4 for the U.S., France, and Germany. The U.S. sailing. The U.S. hockey team looked pretty good in their game yesterday against Latvia, but the Canadians are going to be great. They're going to be fabulous. 18 overall medals for Norway, no surprise. Italy also at 18, the U.S. at 14, France at 10, and Germany at 9, rounding out the top 5. That's John Emmett. That's the Coaching Corner with John Emmett Sailing. Get to the front of the fleet. Thank you, John. Thank you very much. And a bunch of comments rolling in here. Bunch of comments. Put paid. That I thought was a typo. That means cancel. That must be a Commonwealth expression. I'd never heard of that. There is Cricket's mother, Denise Ross Peterson. Jeffrey Peterson's mother, our Fozy Jeffrey. The boats are so fast, maybe the lightning can't catch them. How's that for a slogan? Clark Chapin is saying. Back and forth. Hamish Ross says that's a UK and New Zealand idiom, put paid to in British English, mainly British and New Zealand, to end or destroy, breaking his leg, put paid to his hopes of running in the Olympics. Put paid.
Yep.
Canceled. Ended. Yep. Ted Ryman confirming. It means to stop an event or arrangement. Okay, well, I'm glad that you're all informing us. I can't even pronounce Kookaburra. I had beers with Freddie, Lewis, and Andy last night, John Emmett says. Denise is asking, I wonder if any of the Fozy recognized Todd Harris's voice during the Olympic snowboarding competition. One of the Sail GP announcers. Yes, Todd Harris is the lead, the host announcer, and he does a lot of, what's the word I want, Julie? He does a lot of journeyman work for other networks, including NBC. Surprisingly, he was more subdued for the Olympic coverage than his hyped-up Sail GP commentary.
Yes.
There's Blake on up Minneapolis. Yeah, and there's Rick Bannerow explaining put paid. What else? There's, oh, man, there's a lot of put paid explanations here.
Oh, it's good to know that.
What else? Yeah, you learn something new every day here on Grammar Illustrated.
Yes.
Yeah, Chris, actually, I agree. Freddie Carr is doing a great job with these, the foil. I think that's good. Yeah, the Goobs has a knee brace, John Emmett is saying. John says they will, that is, Freddie Carr and co. will be at all the events. We'll see. We'll see how they're doing financially because that gets expensive in a hurry.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah will get her own team next season, John Emmett asserts. I hope so. That sounds good.
Yep.
Steve Gruber says, if you only have one woman on a boat, it is clear to me who should run the show. It looks like a Valentine's Day report.
Yes.
Tom, are you playing the Leo and Taylor interviews, or should I post a link? I didn't have time in the show, John, and it was in the prep, so I am not playing, and I asked John about them. He has interviews with a number of the sailors, including Leonard Takahashi and Taylor Canfield, and he will put links here. Thank you, John. Do that, because they're already posted on John's YouTube channel or maybe the Sailing Illustrated Facebook page. And they are terrific interviews. John's, as I said, John Emmett has been doing a lot of back and forth down there and will continue through the weekend.
He's gaining a lot of sort of inside knowledge and feel, too.
He is indeed. Bravo Zulu, Julia, in praise of performance to one of your favorite people in the sailing world. Last night at 44th Street, New York Yacht Club's Midtown Manhattan Clubhouse, Kayard and Grandin, they were awarded. Paul and Laura were awarded, as you heard Terry and I talking at the top of the show. U.S. Sailing announces the winners of the 2025 Rolex Yachtsman and Yachtswoman of the Year awards. Some of the other awards were given out last night, too, like the Harrisoff and the Harmon Hawkins and a couple others. And we'll cover those on Tuesday. But suffice to say that a seasoned veteran of the racing scene, Paul Kayard, has no shortage of titles to his name. His mainstay has been the Star Class, where in 2025 he won the World Championship, triumphing over a fleet of 100-plus boats. The championship win is Kayard's second in the Star Worlds, 37. There it is, Julia. 37 years after his first Worlds win in 1988. He also placed third in the Star North American Championship. Outside of Star Sailing, Kayard is obviously an accomplished tactician, winning the Voile de Saint-Tropez on Twin Soul B. This will be his second Rolex following his win in 1988.
98, it says.
Did I say 98 or 88?
Well,
98. Thank you, Julia. That's why we have Julia here to check me, be sure when I do screw up, which is often. Outside his accomplishments in 2025, for which he was awarded last night the Rolex Yachtsman of the Year, Kayard is one of the most experienced American sailors to date. What's that mean, to date? He has competed in the Olympics. Ever. He has competed in the Olympics, America's Cup, and the Whitbread Round the World Race, now the Ocean Race, winning the LV Cup aboard the Italian team Il Moro de Venezia in 1992. And the Whitbread aboard EF Language in 98. He competed in the 2004 Olympics in the Star Class. I think he finished fifth overall. I thought he was sixth. Fifth overall. Since then, Kayard has been involved in the management side of the sport, serving as the director of America One Racing and president of the International Star Class. You see that, Julia, the U.S. Sailing press release from which I took that screen grab, that excerpt, said precious little about America One Racing. There's still some bad blood between those two orgs, but suffice to say that what the job Kayard is doing and America One Racing is doing, we are in this country forever grateful, because they're raising a lot of money and helping a lot of our prospective Olympic and international athletes, America One Racing.
Yes.
Laura Grandin proved herself a formidable competitor in the world of sport boats, keel boats, in 2025 with her team Dark Energy. Grandin made history as the first female helm to win the J70 World Championship this past year, with a bit of credit to Taylor Canfield, who has been her wingman, has been her tactician, main trimmer, and so on most of her winning boats. With the title coming down to the last moments of the final race, Grandin also finished second at the Melgus 24 World Championship, overcoming a collision and two DNFs early in the regatta. So this is her first Rolex Yachtswoman of the Year win, although she was named a nominee. She was nominated in 2021 and in 2022. So bravo, Zulu, Julia, both of them. Two, I think, fabulous choices. I also thought that Allie Bell from San Diego Yacht Club was a good choice for the women because she had not only put this Cal 40 together and put a family team together and fixed the boat up and won the Transpac, but she's also in the midst of all that. She's Commodore of San Diego Yacht Club and, like Paul, making a lot of contributions to the sport. So I think Laura had some real competition in Allie Bell. I know Dennis Conner was pushing hard. I saw his podcast pushing hard for Allie Bell, and I think she would have been a good choice as well. The other gal was quite young. I don't know her. She's had a good year, but she is young and like Justin Callahan, I think he's got a lot of years ahead of him. Speaking of Justin Callahan, he was seen at the yacht club last night looking pretty spiffy. There's a photo somebody sent me. We have spies everywhere, Julia.
Nice.
Walking down the central staircase in the foyer in the main reception hall at New York Yacht Club's 44th Street. And I guess they had all of the finalists. He was one of the 3 male finalists, obviously, Justin Callahan, and he's got plenty of years ahead of him. But I talking again with Claire this morning about the evening, and she volunteered. I didn't even bring Justin up, although I said I had this picture of him. And she said, well, apparently they had all of the 6 finalists walk up and down the stairs. Taylor Canfield was the other male finalist, men's finalist, and Taylor, of course, is in Auckland, so he couldn't be there. But bravo Zulu to all 6 of them, and Taylor's got a very bright future. And Claire Harrington said, she talked to him last night and knows his dad and mom, as do I. And the kid's a class act. And, of course, he is a Fozy.
Yes.
We're very proud of him, like we are of Jeffrey Peterson and a few of the other Gov Cup, Cole Tapper, and some of the other Gov Cup alums. And I think we're going to see Justin. Has he aged out? I think Justin's got another year at Gov Cup.
I don't remember. Somebody's aging out that I...
Well, Cole Tapper, I think, has aged out, and Jeffrey is, of course, aged out. The sun is pretty bright in New York Yacht Club,
I know.
Hamish says. Yeah, I don't quite know what this...
What's that all about?
I don't know what the sunglasses were in the I don't know, but it's a beautiful room and a beautiful staircase. What a clubhouse. A fabulous clubhouse.
It is.
If you missed T. Hutch, he was with us at the top of the show because he had to get cracking to help his new team that they own now, the Rockwool Denmark Sail GP team, and they're racing today. So Terry had 15 minutes with us right at the very top of the hour, so please do go back and watch that in replay if you didn't see it when we were live the first time around. Julia.
Sir.
What happened on this day, the 14th? It's the 14th down under, right?
Right.
I can go with the 14th. What happened on this day in history? The
Love
14th of February, besides Valentine's Day, 2010. 14 Feb 2010. You want a clue?
Yep.
There's a clue. On this day, in 2010, on Valentine's Day.
Did Oracle win that day?
You see that big boat there behind me?
Yeah.
Yes, that's that boat in that image. And you see in the upper right corner where I give credit to the source of the image, the 33rd America's Cup in Valencia. Another clue, Julia. This is from The Guardian. And the headline, Oracle, Steve Gruber's got it. Steve Gruber, he gets the applause. Yes, Oracle wins the AC. No, the boat didn't break up. They won. We won. Come on, Hamish, you were there helping Alinghi. You were with Alinghi in 2010. Broke up. BMW, he knows full well. BMW Oracle beats Alinghi to capture the America's Cup on Valentine's Day 2010. So that was what, 16, hard to believe, 16 years ago, Julia?
Yes.
Hard to believe. We were living in Spain. Were we living in Spain? Yeah, we were living in Spain. We lived in Spain until 2014. Jimmy Spithill is the youngest winning helmsman at 30.
From the...
up until then, because I think Pete Burling was younger when he won it since. And the cup went to Golden Gate Yacht Club. The America's Cup changed hands when the challenger BMW Oracle beat the defender Alinghi 5 by 5 minutes, 26 seconds. In the second race, it was the first to win 2, and we'd won the first race. To win the best of 3 series 2-0, it brings to a close the most acrimonious battle for this trophy in its 159-year history.
Really?
Yep. It was pretty acrimonious. More so even than 88, probably. Maybe not. Maybe 88 was more acrimonious. The Guardian's got to have clickbait, too. Other records went by the board. Jimmy Spithill at 30 is the youngest helmsman to win, and his chief executive officer, Sir Russell Coutts, who was aboard the winning 113-foot trimaran with her owner, Larry Ellison, which is not true.
Mm-hmm.
Larry did not see that it was very light in the first race, so Russell wouldn't let Larry on the boat. He said, "No, Larry, you can't go on the boat.
Too much weight.
Too much weight." And that there was more breeze in the second race, and by then we knew how fast we were relative to Alinghi. So Russell let Larry sail in the second race, but Russell declined to sail on board the boat in either race. So Guardian, you got that wrong. Larry Ellison takes his 4th America's Cup victory, that is Russell Coutts, following 2 for New Zealand and 1 for Alinghi. And Julia, you would be disappointed. You'd think poorly of me if I didn't have a proper 1080p 60 frames per second video.
I would.
This is the trailer to the movie, the documentary about that win called The Wind Gods, and here is the 2-minute trailer.
Yeah.
It's the limits of what's possible in sailing in the 21st century. This is extreme sailing.
We'll probably never see something like this again, not in our lifetimes.
It was a quest, building the best possible team we could build, building the fastest possible boat, and seeing if we could bring the America's Cup back to America.
Human ingenuity with the oldest trophy in international sport at stake.
Larry Ellison said, the BMW Oracle sailing team is much better than yours.
It's quite funny coming from Larry Ellison. What is he going to do if he loses?
Ernesto took the rules and just tore them up.
Ernesto, why are you doing this?
It's like a heavyweight championship fight where the fighters don't like each other very much. And may the best team win.
The America's Cup. It is a race sailed across tides and generations.
Representing your country in an international sporting event? I get chills just talking about it.
In Valencia, Spain, the America's Cup on the line today.
For me, it's a dream come true.
USA 17 is flying. Look at her go.
It was really sort of knife edge.
Oh my goodness, that's too close for comfort.
Both boats were redlining the whole time.
The American team could be in trouble.
We thought we had a much faster boat.
Alinghi out in front. USA 17 playing catch-up.
We never should have let him get that separation.
There is no second place in competition in the game of life. First place is all there is.
It's a cruel fate.
Heart-pounding drama.
That luck plays a part.
USA is getting closer. Can they catch Alinghi? Here they come.
It's to some degree in the hand of the wind gods.
Incredible, unbelievable. What a race.
Jeremy Irons has got quite a voice, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the trailer. There's a better part of an hour full video narrated by Mr. Irons and same quality. I mean, it was produced obviously by Larry and his team at Oracle Corp. And yeah, there's a lot to be said. I mean, here were two teams that went, what's to the wall, the aircraft expression, balls to the wall.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean cojones. That means those balls on top of the, exactly. That you push forward on an airplane to make the engines spin up. And it was a hell of an effort. And once we got sorted out legally, you got a catamaran, which was their solution. And could have been right, especially depending upon the conditions, could have ended up being the right solution. And a great sailing team that Ernesto drove the boat. to his everlasting credit.
Yes.
He steered.
That I'd forgotten that.
He
but
helmed
that's
the boat.
Yeah.
And you got Brad Butterworth, and you got, a superb crew of guys. And then on the trimaran, likewise, you get Jimmy and a superb team of people. And it
From Royal Prince Edward.
Jimmy from your favorite yacht club, from Royal and his whole family. But it was an amazing design competition. Two boats that were remarkably similar in speed. Okay, off the wind, our wing mast, but if Ernesto had had a little more time and maybe when they saw how good our wing mast was, if they'd done a wing mast on that catamaran, who knows who would have won. And we really rolled the dice on the wing mast because, it was just Larry and Russell going, okay, we're going to pull out, as an organist, as Claire would say, we're going to pull out all the stops. Now, remember, they led in race 2 up to the top mark until JK, John Kostecki, made the perfectly good ley line call from about, 4 or 5. Those legs were, it was...
7 miles.
No, it was, the first race was a 13-mile equilateral triangle.
Mm-hmm.
No, the first race was 20 miles to windward and return. That's right. The deed of gift, because we couldn't agree on courses, so it was the deed of gift default courses. It was, 20 miles to windward and return is race 1. The second race is a 13-mile, so it's about the same length, 39 miles total, 13-mile equilateral triangle. Mm-hmm. And the third race, if necessary, is another windward leeward, 20 up, 20 back. Yeah, Steve Gruber's reminded me 20-mile legs. That's correct. And it was pretty amazing in that second race. Alinghi was flying upwind, and JK made the perfect call, and the Alinghi kind of messed up. But the boats were crossing going upwind, and we're all chewing our nails and eating our hearts out. It was great stuff. The DOG course, as Ed Worley says. But at the end of the day, because of the wing, we were quite a bit quicker downhill. We were quite a bit quicker. And interesting design choices. And that was the Wind Gods. That's the trailer for and they're all on YouTube. If you Google the Wind Gods, it's a long video. Okay, that's what happened on Valentine's Day, the 14th of Feb, 16 years ago.
Gosh.
Hard to believe, Julia.
Yes, indeed.
Hard to believe. Okay, gets us to an AAAA with Alistair Murray, who caught up with another one of our longtime friends. Haven't seen him in a long time, but Chuck Hawley, who used to run West Marine and is a friend of, I guess, of Alistair's from the industry, but also a hell of a good sailor and a member of our National Sailing Hall of Fame here. He was inducted last year, Chuck Hawley. And here is that report from Alistair for his AAAA for today.
G'day, Tom, Julie and all the Fozy. This is Alistair with AAAA. It's Alistair's Awesome Aussie Anecdote on Sailing Illustrated. Tom and Julia, as you know, I like to introduce you to interesting people that I meet in my travels, and I'm with a really old mate of mine today, Chuck Hawley. G'day, Chuck.
Good day, Alistair.
And welcome to Australia.
Thank you.
And Tom knows you, and you know Tom.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So we're here in Australia together, and I'm going to introduce you to the Sailing Illustrated family. So Chuck, tell us a little bit about your sailing.
I grew up sailing on Monterey Bay and San Francisco Bay, and had in Hobie Cats and Rhodes 19s and a variety of boats. I bought a Moore 24 when I was about 24 years old and sailed it in
Taking to buy a 70-footer this year, eh?
I sailed it in the second single-headed Transpac, which was great adventure from San Francisco to Honolulu Bay, Kauai, and worked for West Marine for about 35 years. Also got the opportunity to work with one of the great navigators of the world, which is Stan Honey.
Oh, yeah.
And Stan and I worked at a startup company in Silicon Valley in the late 80s. But I've known you for probably 30 or 32 years, something like that.
You got to work with one of the great sailboat hardware brands too, didn't you, Chuck?
I did. I was there when Ron Stan was introduced to West Marine back in the late 90s or mid-90s.
So that's how we know each other, and we've been great mates ever since. So tell the Fozy is friends of Sailing Illustrated.
Okay.
So tell them a little bit about your background with the sailing committees and that whole set of activities there.
So at some point, I was asked to be the Life Sling product manager at West Marine, probably in early 90s. And as a result, I started to get to know people that were involved in teaching safety at sea, like John Bonds and John Rumanier and some really great sailors. And as a result, I started then speaking on safety at sea and became a safety at sea moderator and eventually the chairman of the Safety at Sea Committee for U.S. Sailing. And so during that time, we made some great inroads. One of the things we did is we rewrote the offshore special regulations to make them simpler for Americans. We actually wrote it in American, which was a lot easier to understand than it was in the native language of English. We also came up with an online safety course where we were teaching people that wanted to have an overview of 15 safety topics, and this is a video course. They could take it home. And we came up with a Safety at Sea book to go along with the course. So that was exciting. But I have to say that just working at West Marine exposed me to a lot of vendors and a lot of shows where I would learn about new products, and it was a great education.
Right. And what Chuck doesn't know about sailing boat equipment, and in particular in relation to safety, isn't worth knowing. Now, Chuck, great to have you here in Australia. What have we been doing today?
Well, today we've had a great cross-section of Australian parks, American parks. Australian parks, we've been to one that had koalas crawling up in trees, and I think we saw over a dozen koalas. Wallabies wandering around on the ground, hopping around on the ground. They don't wander, they hop. And what else did we do? We
went to the Churchill Park,
that's right.
Churchill Island.
Yeah, that's right. And we saw demonstrations of cracking the whip and shearing sheep. Shearing sheep, a very Australian sort of thing to do. And now we're going to watch the penguins march out of the water here, out of the Indian Ocean, and come up on shore and do whatever penguins do when they come ashore.
Fantastic. We've had a great day together. And speaking of birds, and I've been having this running battle with Tom, I'm just going to ask you, and we've practiced this, Chuck. I'm going to ask you to name that bird that we saw at the koala park. What was that bird called?
Oh, the kookaburra.
Well
kookaburra.
done. All right, kookaburra. Very close. No, that was really good.
We may have to do this whole thing over again so I can get it right.
There you go, Tom. Kookaburra. One more time.
Kookaburra.
Yeah, well done.
All
Cheers,
right. All right,
Chuck,
mate.
and
All right, mate.
great hanging out with you.
All right.
Cheers to the Fozy. Bye.
Isn't that lovely?
I'm never going to live that down. Kookaburra. Julia,
Yes.
say it.
Kookaburra.
Kookaburra. Alistair Murray with Chuck Hollywood. That was a lot of fun. Great guys both. And as I said, Chuck not only was CEO and he led West Marine for years, he started working there and ended up running the place for a long time. But he's also very popular in this country and beyond for all the work he's put into safety at sea. He probably saved a lot of lives indirectly, if not directly, for his very fine work. And you see in the comments as well from people who know him and know him well. Lance Burke here in San Francisco saying, sailed with Chuck on Mayan, which is a fabulous old classic yacht here, have taken his live survival at sea course at Encinal, which is a yacht club here in the East Bay, and have used his training for other offshore certificates. Chuck is a prince, and I think we would all, Julia, agree with that. And as is Alistair Murray, a prince, and he does regularly now the AAAA.
Yes, it's always interesting.
Alistair's awesome Aussie anecdote, for which we are entirely grateful.
Absolutely.
And that gets us to the last leg.
Wow.
What time is it? 33 minutes after the hour, an hour and 33 minutes into this show. Thank you for joining us on this Friday afternoon, our time, Saturday morning down under, the last leg to Gloucester. And we're featuring the Finn World Sailing Championships. There's actually 3 of them going on. If you look at the subhead on, I blocked it out a little bit. The Australian Nationals in the Finn class took place the 7th through the 12th. The Gold Cup starts today. That's the Finn class World Championship. The Gold Cup, 13th through the 19th. And then the World Masters after that, the 20th, at the end of the month, 20th through the 27th, all taking place up there at a famously good yacht club in Brisbane, The Finn Gold Cup is underway at the Royal Queensland Yacht Squadron. There is the Gold Cup. And here is a nice video for the last leg.
You have your
The famous Lamb-Belay tests, the Finn class and a few others use to be sure nobody is sticking weight in just the middle of the boat against the rules. The Russians are coming. I've been looking in the chat. I guess I'm missing anything. But a nice Robert Deves video, some classical music there to wrap up today's show before we get to the D block, Julia.
Yes.
And your favorite guy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we need your finger, but you never know.
Wait.
Apropos, Sail GP, Denmark, Greenland, and all the rest, Julia, this meme has been showing up on the sailing Facebook pages today, sent to me by someone anonymous. I don't know who did the meme, but the rumors that Doug DeVos was bringing in a new driver for the Danish Sail GP team are not true. That's not true, Julia. Of course, it's pronounced Gloucester. Yes. That movie needed more sailors. That is not true. This one could have been a correct or Croutonic. Peter Stevenson, a.k.a. Pedro Foiling Sailor, sent this. The Duke of York, which is obviously a pub, under 18s are welcome.
I feel so sorry for them.
For the under 18s or for the former prince? No. Andrew, formerly known as Prince.
for the house.
Oh, gosh, that thing is that's getting uglier by the day. That came from Pedro Foiling Sailor. Mm-hmm. Andrew Dolly DeVola says, no one knows skippering better than Trump. Yeah, that may have been a meme. That may have been a AI generation. I'm not so sure. Julia, you like this one? Now we're talking about us. The man who invented the wind chill factor has sadly passed away. He was 98, but felt like 85 degrees Fahrenheit. That came from Ed Worley, who sends us clever ones almost every show. Old age comes at the worst time. Speaking of old age, once you finally know everything, like you and me, Julia, you start to forget everything you know.
Oh, no kidding.
Greg Phillips sent that from Oz. That is perfect.
Perfect.
That is perfect. Then this one, speaking of Australia and animals and kookaburras, that spider bit me. Am I going to become Spider-Man? And the guy says, no, this is Australia. You're going to die. They got some vicious ones down there.
Yeah.
Snakes and spiders. That also from Greg Phillips. And not to be outdone, he did another one for us. Apropos tomorrow and Valentine's Day, the police are saying for $850, we'll arrest you in front of your wife one day prior to Valentine's Day and release you the day after. It includes lodging, a guide, fishing gear, food, and beer. Also from Greg Phillips, apropos tomorrow. Yeah, come on. You got to be au courant here with this D-block stuff, Julie.
Right.
And, of course, Blake Middleton, who always reminds us that all the smartest people sail. And my dad likes to remind us that sailing isn't for everybody, but it is for anybody. For anybody, which, Julia, gets us to the finish line. And you like to say,
Yes. Oh, what a grand program to share. Like, follow, and share online. It helps us a lot.
comments are welcome, even in replay. We're one of the few shows to leave them open because everyone is so proper.
Yeah, they are.
So respectful of everyone's opinions. If you disagree, you can disagree politely without any name calling, without any coarse language.
Right.
And if you want to contribute to help keep us on the air so that we can keep this control room and Studio B intact, and we've made a couple changes here since our last show. We keep trying to make steady improvements.
Right.
But you can help us by giving us a few bucks. Send us a check. Send us a bottle of booze. Some people send us coffee. Patreon.com/join/Sailing Illustrated, though, gets a few bucks a month to us, and we appreciate very much your support as we do those who gave us audio, video, and images for today's show. Julia,
Sir.
Final thoughts.
Oh, it was another good run. There's so much going on in the sport, and it's winter, for goodness sake.
Well, we try to cover the main topics. It's winter here, but it's summer down under.
I know.
It's the nice thing about our sport, especially when you got Emmett down there and you got Alistair and John down there and others covering the sport. You got Hamish Ross coming on a lot. We've had a big Auckland run here, Terry and Hamish Ross on Saturday. Everyone, please help with Patreon. Thank you. Blake sends us a few bucks a month, for which we are deeply appreciative. And this group here also helped make it possible. Julia, tomorrow is Valentine's Day.
Yes.
We want to wish you, and where's the flowers? Over
Behind
here,
you.
over my shoulder. I put them back here.
Yeah.
So we could get them in the shot. They do smell good.
They do.
Is that what's causing you to be a little sniffly and sneezy, you think, at the start of the show?
I don't know.
Well, we do have three more slides because in honor of tomorrow. Don't ask me. Don't ask me how I ended up on Etsy. I don't think I've ever been on that website Etsy before in my life, but I Googled something that said sailing Valentine's Day cards, and these popped up. This is from Etsy Israel.
Good.
You float my boat.
Yay.
This is from Etsy New Zealand. You're the wind in my sails.
Terrific.
That's a nice Valentine's Day card. And then,
It
of
is.
course, this is from Etsy USA. Let's get naughty. Let's get naughty, Julia.
Oh, yes.
Regardless to all of you, wherever in the world you are, and it's already Valentine's Day down under, but those of you in Europe and here in the States, and down in South America, happy Valentine's Day. We hope you have a great weekend wherever you are. Go sailing if you can, or go ice boating, even if it's cold and you're up near Blake Middleton, Clark Chapin in the Great Lakes area. And by the way, the DN Worlds are going on over in Poland next week, I think. And regardless, have a great weekend. We hope to see you on Tuesday. Thank you very much for joining us today. Go sailing. In the meantime, sail fast, sail safe, and have fun. Ciao for now.